how can someone start their cloud kitchen? Like any certification
Interesting.
required, like chefs, any layman
I
if
will tell
someone,
you.
yeah.
How do you start a cloud kitchen business? Now, there's an entire step-by-step process for how you start a cloud kitchen. And like I said, we do a detailed session when we do our webinars and so on and so forth. But I'll try to tell you in a brief steps around
Yeah.
the 6-7 major steps, what you need to take. First and foremost aspect is to understand that this is not a home delivery business. It is about winning the mind. The first thing is about winning the mind and understanding that you will not make money through retail profits. You know, this is a very revolutionary concept wherein which if you start counting that, I'll send 100 portions of dal makhani and I will make X amount of money and I'll become a rich guy overnight. That's not how this business works. This is more or less a brand business wherein which you have to build and think like a brand, because eventually you are living in the cloud, right? The concept of cloud kitchen comes in from the fact is that nobody knows where you are located. People have to see your brand and only then they get attracted towards that. So first thing when you're starting a cloud kitchen business is to understand that you are building a brand and not a simple home delivery business, which just delivers food. Okay, so brand also would be directly, coinciding with the thought of adding a level of experience to it. तभी उस business में कोई फायदा है नहीं तो कोई फायदा ही नहीं है. दूसरा point आता है, which is to understand, which is the second point, which I keep telling a lot of people that is to figure out your niche. This is something which has really come up post the pandemic specifically, because now is when if you see the portfolio of Rebel Foods also, you will not find a doing everything for everyone kind of a brand. You won't find generic brands. You won't find a brand who does Indian also, Chinese also, continental also. वो जो होता था ना पहले टाइम में ढाबा टाइप का कॉन्सेप्ट सब
Some
कुछ डाल दिया एक साथ. हाँ. Now is the time of not only figuring out your niche, which is with respect to cloud kitchen, it is also about getting specific that if you want to do Indian food, what is the kind of Indian food you want to do? Do you want to do, North Indian, South Indian? You want to do Western Indian, Maharashtrian? You want to do Bengali food? Build your micro niche. Nowadays you can build a brand around tikkas, kebabs, biryani. Maharashtrian food itself. You can build a brand around litti chokha itself. Something which is looking like far-fetched recipes, and you just build a brand around that and build monopoly in that. Now is not the time of giving everything to everyone. So the second point, like I always tell people, is to build your specific niche with respect to what you really want to do and build your brand around that. You should not have around 10 cuisines in your menu, because the customer gets confused, and the customer, when he's ordering from you online, he needs to remember one thing, that he's ordering from you because of that one particular signature cuisine which you specialize in. Next comes in is about understanding the third most important aspect about your location. What location you really want to set up. The beauty of the cloud kitchen industry nowadays is that you don't really need to invest into multiple lakhs and crores, to actually find a good retail location. Something I keep telling people, which is often said in the restaurant industry, that location. One of the most important things in the restaurant industry. That's absolutely not the case. When we talk about the cloud kitchen industry, you just have to be in the 5-kilometer radius of your customer, and you're good to go. So the third most important critical aspect is to understand कि आपकी niche के according, where do you find a good connect? Where do you find a good catchment area? So location becomes the third and most, I won't say most important aspect, but it's a critical factor, because you have to really optimize on the cost bit. Something which we delve deep down into our personal sessions. Then comes the fourth aspect, which is to do with licenses. Now, the beauty of the licenses is that the hard part about India is that the more you get compliant, the more you get entangled yourself. So you have to just focus on the basics, that whatever 4 or 5 major compliances which you need, one of the most important aspects is to get a food license, food registration done, which is under FSSAI, which is Food Safety Standards Authority of India. Just a basic registration under that, and you can probably list across all platforms. So like I said, the fourth point is getting your licenses in place. Then comes the fifth part, which is to do with your staffing staffing, your staffing protocols, how many people you really need to hire. I always keep telling my team members internally and my community members, who are basically part of my community. I tell them that there are 4 things you need to understand: whom to hire, whom to partner with, whom to probably outsource, and whom to ideally keep as your vendor. You understand? Now, this is a very powerful line I'm trying to tell you, that sometimes you don't need to do everything yourself. You really need to harness the power of other people and try to come up with a profitable menu, rather than trying to really have a lot of staff onto you, because then the economics of a cloud kitchen does not really work out. And then comes the 6th and the most important aspect, which is about marketing your brand. No matter what you do, howsoever good menu and the resources you put in, if you don't have a brand story, and if I can't relate with your brand, the first point I told you is to think like a brand. 7th point is to market that brand, and that brand needs to exude certain amount of integrity, quality, and certain level of, I would say, experience. I always tell a lot of people is that food in actuality is an experiential business. एक experience का business है ये. This is not typically just a commodity. Dal chawal kha liya, kadi chawal kha liya. That's just that, if you're trying to get into that kind of a market, it's not the right business for you. Why I tell you is because you will not be able to make money. Point is to charge 500 rupees for an item which costs around 50 rupees only. Now, how do you do that is a question you need to answer yourself. You know what I mean? That is the skill of an entrepreneur, right? That how do you charge 5x, 6x multiple for something which costs only 50, 60 rupees. And that is what I tell a lot of people, that we really need to assess this aspect. And lastly, most important is to understand something which I often say, something called a value creation funnel. A customer को कैसे आप लेके आते हैं अपने system में. Nowadays, the market has changed. Amit, specifically, I'll tell you, because अब वो time गया जब people would be ordering from you because you were the oldest restaurant in the vicinity. Nowadays, people order from you because they get a community vibe out of you, right? कि community बनाइए, एक tribe जिसे कहते हैं digital में, कहते हैं digital tribe बनाना, And if you see a biryani by kilo, you see a rebel for that matter, they're doing a fantastic job in terms of building a community around your food. That while they are the premise is their food, but they do a lot of conversation around the food. तो एक value creation funnel होता है जहाँ से आप एक कस्टमर को लेके आते हैं अपने सिस्टम के अंदर, and through that system you basically try to engage, build a relationship with him, and try to create more brands, more cuisines, and try to use that entire circle to get more sales opportunities. You understand?
Got it. Like
so,
a funnel.
like I said, it's more like a value creation funnel, which I always say that if you are able to do that, you'll be able to build a more profitable company. So like I said, this is a step-by-step process. अगर ये 7 point किसी ने कोई समझ में आ गए ठीक से, I am telling you that I have seen this across my portfolios, that they genuinely start making some serious money, because like I said, a lot of people fail in this business because they always think that just by listing yourself on a Swiggy, Zomato, orders will start coming in and you will start making money. That seldom never happens. And उस case में होता क्या है, that they eventually end up not only losing money, they start condemning the industry, which is the worst thing. Food industry has made 8% of the billionaires in the entire world. So, like I said, it's a genuine opportunity and a genuine leverage point for a lot of people. I think I started my career with a management consulting firm, but the beauty is that the food business gives employment to people from all backgrounds, not even discriminating on the fact that whether you're a chef or whether you've been a hotel management graduate. So, like I said, if you follow these 7 steps, you'll be absolutely a success in this particular industry. I can assure you on that particular point. So hope that was a long answer, but my intent was to give you absolute clarity on the same. Yeah.